so glad that you guys are here. Wow! Kitty is also really excited for Vlogmas, aren't you? She's like, no, let me down. I'm out of here. Okay, so it's Tuesday, Vlogmas day 18. Ugh, there's been so many. I think I'm only gonna do this until the 25th, so a true Vlogmas that ends on Christmas. I guess this whole week I've been doing the STEM Squad takeover, which just means that I've been running my Instagram account, my Vlogmas, and now I'm doing the STEM Squad's Instagram. So I've got 3 posts a day that I've been doing at the STEM Squad, so if you haven't gone over there, check it out. I'll put a link in the description to their Instagram, and yeah, it'll be a lot about how I got to where I am, my schooling, my internships, my work, some of what I do as a water engineer, explaining what the heck a water engineer is, and trying to build some, I guess, transparency or just acknowledgement of that this career exists and it's a career that you could be and you could do. So that'll be over in the STEM Squad. I'm still going to do the Vlogmas video a day, and it'll end on Christmas. So if you have any advice or things that you want to know that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments soon, because there's only 6 more days of this, 7 more days, n minus 1, 6 more days of this. So let me know. Join me over on my Instagram and the STEM Squad's Instagram, and I've been doing the stories for the STEM Squad, and it's been really fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun chatting with you guys about how you got into what you do, and there's a lot of people in lab science and what the parallels are between lab science, like a true science, and then engineering, which is very text science and math heavy, but it's its own beast of different random stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you want to hear about. Hey guys, happy Vlogmas! So today's advice is to just go for it. And what I mean by that is, when you're given a task at work, figure out how you can dig in and don't ask permission for it. So I'm in consulting, as you guys probably know, and typically with new hires and entry levels and interns, we'll provide them with a task and we'll say, hey, can you write this up, or can you do this analysis, or here's a spreadsheet, what can you figure out about it? And we'll say, it might be able to take you 10 hours to do this. So if you're given a time frame to do it, make sure that you're within the time frame. But if they haven't given you a time frame and they've said, go do whatever you need to do to finish it, just take it and run. So if it's a spreadsheet, I got copied on an email that had a spreadsheet with a bunch of data in it. And I could have just been like, oh cool, it looks nice, I just cleaned up the borders, or I cleaned up the columns. But instead, I opened the spreadsheet, I used a data visualization tool, which I don't think the person who sent it to me even knew what it was or what its capabilities were, or how to optimize data by visualizing it in this graph using this program. And so I started messing with the data, started fixing it up. I was, making new columns that I thought were helpful. I put it in the separate program and made some graphs, and in the end showed it to her, and of course she was impressed because I did something with it that she hadn't expected and that was useful. And even if it's not useful, sometimes you have to dig in and like search through the data to figure out that it's not useful and what you're trying to answer is not actually a good question. But that's how work goes. You have to start something, you have to take a step in some direction in order to figure out if it's the right direction or the wrong direction. So my advice to you is to just do it if you need to start, and do some of it and get kind of like the visual of how you want it to look, or what you have in mind, and then present that to somebody and say, hey, this is what I was planning on doing, do you agree, disagree, before you spend any more time That's one way to go about it. But I often see that it's a gender difference, that the guys tend to dig in and just go for it. They don't ask permission, they just do it, which is along the lines of their gender roles. And then the women, they will ask about it, will say, hey, can I do this? They'll wait to be told that it's something that's needed. And I think it comes from more of a place of not wanting to waste time and waste budget, because every time you do, you're spending time doing something at work that's equivalent to budget, because you could have been doing something else. But I guess it was very interesting to me when I started managing more projects that's what happened, that the women weren't taking those extra steps to just try to figure something out. They were they wanted to make sure that people were happy with what they were producing, and that I guess it boils down to that they had permission to do it. And the guys were not that way, which it could be reckless, but as an entry level or somebody just starting out, even if you spend a week doing something that in the end you have to redo or isn't right or isn't useful, it's a week of time. And for somebody who is learning and who is an intern or an entry level, that's a huge learning curve for you to spend that week doing that. And really, it's not that expensive on the company. It's not like somebody who has 30 years experience just wasted a full week, which is a lot more expensive for the company than an intern. And it's something that I realized when I was an intern, just how I wouldn't say they didn't care, but they were just ambivalent to me spending time doing something. Just oh yeah, if you want to do it, go ahead, do it. Because it's on the budget, it really doesn't make that much of an impact on larger projects. And even when I was an intern, I was spending, if I wasn't in the field, I was mostly probably on overhead. And so I could sit there on overhead, on Reddit not doing anything, or I could sit there on overhead just digging into some data. And obviously me wasting time with some data is a lot more useful than me just wasting time. So yeah, my advice is to dig in, to try to, anytime you're given a task, or even if you haven't been given a task, if you can find the holes of hey, this hasn't been done and I think this would be really useful for the project, or really useful for this task if I added on this extra activity, just start it. Do it a little bit. Show somebody, hey, this is what I've been working on. Do you think I should keep going? Do you think this is useful? And I think that you will have a lot more opportunity presented to you if you are driven and ambitious like that, and you are searching for opportunities to add value and opportunities to learn new things. I think that it looks really good for you as a professional, and you as a new hire or an intern. And yeah, that's my advice. Just dig in, go for it, don't ask questions, and don't ask permission. You'll have to fight that internal urge to be a people pleaser, and to make sure everybody's happy with your work, and instead look for how you can differentiate yourself and add value by not doing exactly what they've asked, but by doing something that you have a vision for and that you can see being really productive. Yeah, a lot of times I'll sit down and I'll be like, what am I doing? I'm just looking at this data, and I think, I could do something else with my time. But then in the end, I tend to find something useful out of the data. And it just takes me a while of staring at it and moving around columns and making different graphs, or doing something else. So yeah, that's my advice. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you all tomorrow.